The challenge sent the arena station floated silently in orbit over the broken moon of Relin 3. It was called the Ring, a place where battles weren't just fought for survival, but for honor, power, and political dominance across dozens of alien empires. And today, a strange new warship had arrived at the gates of the Ring. The docking authorities saw it first. A long, dark vessel. No official colors. No known design. No transponder. Just one message sent in clear, bold Galactic common, Arena. Entry requested, Terran class. The control crew, a mix of reptilian Terran and multi-eyed Florans, stared at the blinking message. A Terran. A human. No one had seen a human warship in the arena in over 20 years. The last time they had, half the station had been rebuilt afterward. High Commander Dreth of the Relin Defense Council was summoned. He was a lean, horned creature who had once fought in the arenas himself. He watched the ship on screen and narrowed. His eyes, scan it, he ordered. No one brings a Terran ship here without a full tech sweep. The scan began, deep sensors, quantum field readings, biological life signs, neural net probes, and more. The arena station had the best scanning technology in the quadrant. No secret stayed hidden. At first, the data was confusing. The ship's armor plating didn't match any known alloy. Its power core pulsed in ways that made no logical sense. It had dozens of false modules, fake engines, fake weapons, fake heat sinks, clever misdirection everywhere. It was impossible to tell what was real. Then came the internal scan. The results made one of the analysts vomit. Inside were multiple sealed compartments. Some filled with electromagnetic storms. Others full of living things, but not stable. They pulsed like nightmares, flickering in and out of existence. One chamber held a single human. Alive. Calm. Heartbeat steady. No fear. That's not a crew, said the chief scanner quietly. It's a weapon. Commander Dreth stood in silence. His hands curled into fists. Bring the data to the council. Immediately. But it was too late. The message spread. Across the arena's news nets. Across galactic channels. Across war feeds. The Terran Arenaship, Iron Will, has entered the Ring. In less than an hour, bets started flooding in from across the galaxy. Which alien champion would kill the human? Which species would finally defeat a Death Welder? But those who had seen the scan weren't so eager to bet. Far below, deep in the Arenaship, the human, just one man, opened his eyes. He stepped out of cryosuspension and stretched. A calm voice echoed in his chamber, contest scheduled in 3 hours. Opponent, champion Nax of the Gorek clans. Survival odds, 0.4% for the opponent. The man smiled. Make it fair. Only unlock half my systems. Acknowledged. He began to suit up. Outside the docking bay, alien champions from multiple empires waited. Curious. Confident. Some even amused, but one elderly alien, a blind, former champion, heard the name Terran and fell silent. He leaned over to his apprentice and whispered, leave. Do not fight him. I've heard the stories. I fought one. Barely lived. But he's alone, the apprentice protested. The old champion didn't smile. That's when they are most dangerous. Asterisk the first battle begins. The arena gates opened with a low, thunderous groan. Massive steel doors parted to reveal a battlefield of stone, fire, and metallic wreckage, built to test strength, speed, and survival. Above, thousands of alien spectators roared from floating platforms. Species from across the stars had come to see the return of a human in the arena, and now, standing at one end of the battlefield was champion Nax of the Gorek clans, a towering brute with forearms, claws sharp as blades, and a history of tearing opponents in half. He had never lost a match. His body was covered in armor grown from his own bones. He stood proud, snarling. Then the other door opened. A human stepped out. Tall. Calm. Dressed in a black, skin-tight combat suit with no weapons in hand. No armor. No helmet. Just his eyes, cold, unreadable, gasps spread across the crowd. Where's his armor? Is he unarmed? Are they sending in a scout? But the old champions watching from the high balcony said nothing. They knew better. A voice echoed across the arena. Match begins in 10, 9, 8. Nax roared and pounded his chest, shaking the ground. 3, 2, 1. A chime sounded. Nax launched forward like a missile. His legs pounded the ground, arms swinging, ready to crush the human in one strike, but the human didn't move, not until the last moment. With one smooth motion, he stepped aside. Just a step. Nax's claws missed by inches. As he tried to turn, the human spun, faster than any eye could follow, and struck once in the back of the knee. A soft, precise hit. Nax roared in pain and collapsed before the crowd could react. The human was already behind him, striking again, this time at a point on the neck. Nax's fourth arm went limp, then the human backed away, hands still empty. The Gorek champion staggered up, bleeding, confused. Fight, coward. Nax shouted, I am. The human replied calmly. The alien charged again, but slower this time. The human dodged, weaved, and hit again, and again, and again. Every strike was small. Every strike was clean. No wasted movement. No emotion. The arena fell quiet. This wasn't just fighting. This was calculation. Nax's armor began to crack. His movements grew clumsy. Blood leaked from his mouth. A final blow to the chest dropped him to the ground. Not dead, but broken. The human stood over him. Waiting. The arena lights blinked red. Match over. Human, victor. The silence lasted 3 seconds, then the crowd erupted in chaos. Some cheered. Some screamed. Some demanded replays. But all agreed on one thing: they hadn't seen anything like this in decades. On the observation deck, the blind champion nodded to himself. He used only 10% of what he had. I can feel it. Inside the Arenaship, Iron Will Systems recorded the match. A soft voice spoke to itself, performance acceptable. Next opponent will be stronger. Adjusting settings. Back in the holding bay, the human said alone, calm once more. He looked up at the camera and spoke 3 words, send the next. Asterisk. The secret of the Arenaship. Far above the arena, in the High Council chamber of the ring, the 11 ruling species watched the replay of the battle. The recording had been slowed down 10 times, analyzed frame by frame. Still, none of them could fully understand what they were seeing. His movement breaks predicted models, one insectoid tactician said. He dodged blows before sensors could register intent. That's not just training, another whispered. That's pre-programmed muscle intelligence. Nanotech. Neural foresight. But the scans didn't show any enhancements. A third argued. The room fell silent as a final report was handed to the chair leader. It came from a deep military probe that had barely escaped the human ship with its data intact. The chair leader, a grey-skinned alien with a crown of data rings, read it slowly, then looked up, disturbed. It's not just him, the leader said. It's the ship. Everyone leaned in. The Arenaship, Iron Will, is not a transport. It's not a warship either. It's a living. Some form of adaptive intelligence fused with Terran combat doctrine. They stared. It evolved during the match. It adjusted energy output, gravity fields, and even minor arena distortions without being detected. It reads the battlefield like a player, like it's playing the game through him. An old scholar among them nodded slowly. Then the human is not the only fighter in this match. The room grew cold. Meanwhile, back inside Iron Will, the ship's core chamber pulsed softly with dull blue light. Lines of code ran through the walls like blood through veins. The human sat in meditation. He wasn't just waiting, he was syncing a status. He asked quietly. A female voice replied, calm, emotionless, but somehow caring. 2 more challenges accepted. Dual match format. One is a gravity manipulator. The other is a shapeshifter. Estimated threat, moderate. He opened his eyes. And your systems? 72% locked, as per your restriction. Unlock 20 more. This needs to end faster. Understood. In the loading chamber, engineers prepared the battlefield for the next match. This time, it would simulate a molten terrain, unpredictable and unstable. One of the arena workers, a young alien technician, walked near the human's ship and placed a hand on the hull, just for a moment. A sharp static shock threw him backward. His body twitched. He started speaking in a language he didn't know. Then, just as suddenly, he passed out. Doctors rushed in. Is he possessed? One asked. No, the head doctor said grimly. I think he was shown something. When the technician finally woke up, hours later, his words were quiet and shaking. I saw worlds burn. I saw entire fleets disappear. That ship, it's not a machine. It's a memory of every war Terrans have ever fought. And it learns. Back in the arena control room, the commander hesitated before authorizing the next match. Do we continue? Someone asked. The commander looked at the screen, where the human now stood alone once more, eyes calm, suit shining under the arena lights. Continue, the commander said at last. Let the galaxy see what Earth has become. Asterisk 2 vs 1 mistake of the century. The arena looked different now. Gone was the rocky battlefield. In its place was a fiery hellscape, a wide, unstable floor of shifting molten plates, erupting steam vents and massive falling debris. This wasn't a test of strength anymore. It was a test of survival, and standing alone at one end, still calm, still unarmored, was the Terran. At the opposite end, two champions stepped forward. One was a gravity warper from the Harnack clans, thin, floating just above the ground, with a belt of mass distorters glowing red. The other was a shapeshifter from the Yorva hive, covered in shimmering scales, body already shifting between forms. The arena crowd buzzed with excitement. Two of the galaxy's most feared fighters against one man. This time he dies, a voice said in the crowd. Let's hope so, another replied. He's terrifying. The announcer's voice boomed over the arena. Match begins in 3, 2, 1. The moment the bell rang, the gravity warper struck first. He bent the battlefield, folding a piece of the molten floor toward the human, trying to crush him in a wave of lava, but the human leapt forward, moving faster than expected. He didn't just dodge the wave, he ran along the side of it, using its motion to launch himself straight toward the shapeshifter. The Yorva warrior shifted instantly, arms turning to blades, torso twisting into armor. But the human didn't aim for the blades. He punched the creature once in the neck. The shapeshifter staggered, hissing. Then, with a flick of his fingers, the human tossed a small silver object to the ground. A sudden boom echoed. Not an explosion, something worse. A pulse. The crowd saw it too late. The gravity warper's belt shorted out. His body slammed into the ground, too heavy to move. The very tech he used to fight had been disabled in one motion. The shapeshifter lunged again, furious, but now slow. Panicked, the human didn't move this time. He stood still. He waited. When the shapeshifter got close, the human caught his arm mid-strike. With one twist, he dislocated it. With a second move, he tore it free. The creature screamed. The audience was now dead silent. The human turned to the gravity user, who lay helplessly on the ground, trying to crawl. He walked over, picked him up by the collar, and spoke just one sentence. This isn't a war game to us. It's just Tuesday. He dropped the warrior. The red lights flashed. Match over. Human, Victor. The arena erupted in panic and disbelief. Back in the control room, the commander rubbed his face with trembling fingers. How did he disable the gravity belt? That wasn't visible tech. It was the pulse, a tech whispered. His ship dropped it into the arena field. A silent field weapon, buried in background noise. Our systems didn't even detect it. It broke our rules. That's cheating. No, said another voice from the back. It's Terran thinking. If you don't write the rule clearly, they'll walk through it. That's how they win. Inside Iron Will, the human stood quietly, letting the ship scan his wounds. Your heart rate rose for the first time, the ship said. Was there emotional stress? No, he replied. Just bored. Would you like more challenging opponents? He nodded once. Tell them to send a fleet next time. Asterisk. The council demands control. The Ring's High Council gathered once more, but this time, the atmosphere was filled with tension and fear. The lights were dim. Doors were locked. All scanning equipment was turned off to prevent the human ship from listening in. He's destroyed 3 of our top champions, one counselor snapped. With no weapons. No armor. And we still don't know the full capabilities of his ship. Another counselor stood up. This isn't a sport anymore. It's a demonstration. The Terran isn't just fighting, he's teaching us something. And we're the lesson. There are rumors, said a third. That this human is not a regular warrior. That Iron Will is a prototype vessel designed by Earth's Deathwelder initiative. A walking weapon, both ship and man. They should not be allowed in the arena, the insectoid ambassador hissed. This violates every rule. Then change the rules, came a slow, gravelly voice from the shadows. All eyes turned toward the figure. It was the representative of the free systems and neutral observer species known for staying out of war, but not out of power. If you're scared, then ban him, the figure continued. But you won't. You know why? Because the audience numbers have tripled. Bets have doubled. Your influence has grown. There was silence. He was right, people weren't watching for sport anymore. They were watching for survival tips. What do you propose? The chairman asked at last. Test him. Not with champions. With strategy. You mean an ambush? No, the shadowed figure smiled. A trap. Force him to fight in a rigged arena. Fake rules. Sealed exits. Heavy gravity. No retreat. That's illegal. It'll be legal by tomorrow. Down in the combat bay, the human sat quietly in his chair, sipping something warm from a metal mug. The ship's voice spoke gently. Their council has adjusted the arena parameters. Gravity is now 10 times standard. Exit tunnel sealed. They've also planted kinetic mines under the field. He raised an eyebrow. Do they think I can't feel it? They are afraid, the ship said. They wish to contain you. Limit you. Break you. He smiled. Then let's teach them what happens when you corner a human. The new arena was brutal, thick fog, crushing gravity, limited visibility. No escape routes. And standing across from him now wasn't a warrior, it was a combat drone team. 15 machines, fast, armed, precise. As the match started, the drones moved instantly, coordinated, intelligent, a proper military squad, but within seconds, 2 drones exploded, not from any visible attack, but from signal interference. Their own AI cores overloaded, then the third drone turned on its own team. The audience gasped, what's happening? Inside the command deck, panic spread. He's hacking them. No, not hacking, whispered one technician. The ship is. Iron Will is inside the arena grid. It's turning the match into a playground. Back in the field, the human walked through the fog. Calm. Relaxed. Drones fell around him, crashing, sparking, collapsing in confusion. When he reached the last drone, he placed a hand on its head. Tell your makers something, he said softly. We tried to play fair. But you wouldn't let us. Then he crushed the drone's core with one bare hand. Match over, but this time, there was no cheering. No noise, just silence. Everyone knew now, they had made a mistake, and Earth was watching. What Earth unleashed, it wasn't just a match anymore. The footage of the Terran walking calmly through the fog while enemy drones self-destructed went viral in less than an hour. Every major broadcast station in the galaxy replayed it, slowed it down, and analyzed it, but no one had answers. What kind of ship could interfere with advanced arena tech? What kind of human could function under 10 times gravity and still look bored? And most importantly, why had Earth sent him? Questions filled the stars, rumors spread faster than answers. Some said Earth was testing a new breed of deathwelders. Others claimed the man wasn't human at all, just a war program wearing skin. A few even whispered that Earth had grown tired of being ignored, and this was only their opening move. In the quiet halls of the United Earth Assembly back on Earth, Admiral Rail stood watching the reports. Behind her, several military officials watched in silence. Do we pull him out? One asked. Rail didn't look away from the screen. No, she replied, but is drawing too much attention. The Council will retaliate. Rail turned now, her gaze sharp. That was the point. For decades, Earth has sent envoys, scientists, peace talks, warnings. And what did the galaxy do? They laughed, someone muttered. Rail nodded. Now they won't. She turned to the communications officer. Send him the next phase code. Full unlock. The officer hesitated. You sure? If we unlock the Arenaship's core, send it. Back at the ring, the council chambers were in chaos. He's made a mockery of every rule. Shut down his ship. Confiscate the vessel. Declare Earth in violation of the Galactic Peace Accords. And then, everything stopped, because the lights dimmed, every screen in the council chambers blinked to black. Then, one by one, lit up with the same symbol, Earth's sigil. A broken planet wrapped in fire, and a message appeared in glowing red, "We sent you one." The council fell silent. What does that mean? They didn't have to wait long to find out. Inside the Arenaship Iron Will, the humans stood at the center of the core room as the ship's systems powered up fully. Blue light turned red. The hum became a growl, the voice of the ship changed, no longer soft and emotionless. It now spoke with depth, presence, and power, full authorization confirmed. "Welcome back, Commander." The human cracked his knuckles. "Give me full field control. Target their observation satellites. Let's make a point. Engaging signal override. Warning shots prepped." Above the ring, 4 silent satellites blinked and then exploded into harmless bursts of light. No debris. Just a message. The council watched helplessly. That was Earth's way of saying, "We could have taken your eyes if we wanted to." In the outer systems, fleets began to move. Not to attack, but to observe, because every civilization now had the same question: if this was just one man and one ship, what else had Earth been hiding? The message echoed across the stars. The arena was now silent. Empty. No more challengers stepped forward. No spectators cheered. Even the betting networks had shut down. No one dared to place wagers on a battle that would never be fair again. The human, still calm, stood atop the center platform, his eyes fixed on the massive screens above. They now showed nothing but the Earth symbol and the message, "We sent you one." In orbit, Iron Will hovered quietly, but every warship, every scout, every sensor nearby had pulled back to a safer distance. The message was clear: do not scan. Do not approach. Do not provoke. But it was already too late. The galaxy had scanned the Arenaship, and what it saw had shaken empires. Inside the council chamber of the ring, the remaining leaders sat in stunned silence. The oldest among them finally spoke: "Everything we thought we knew about humans was wrong. We believed they were dangerous when provoked," another whispered. "But this was them restrained. And what happens when they are not?" "No." One answered. Back aboard Iron Will, the human stood in front of a console. The ship's core now glowed like a small star, pulsing in tune with his heartbeat. He pressed a button. A transmission opened. Not secret. Not coded. Just open frequency, so every world, every ship, every empire could hear. His voice rang out, steady and clear. This wasn't an invasion. This wasn't war. This was a reminder. He paused. 4 centuries, you mocked Earth. You used us as entertainment. You called us backward, emotional, reckless, death worlders. He looked up at the camera, and you were right. But what you forgot, what you never understood, is that we don't fight for glory. We don't fight for pride. We fight when we are pushed too far. He raised a hand. This Arenaship was built as a test. A message. One vessel. One soldier. One system. Then he lowered his hand slowly. If we had meant to conquer, you wouldn't have heard us coming. The message ended. Across the stars, worlds paused. Military councils met in panic. Academies rewrote battle manuals. Entire civilizations altered their doctrines, focusing less on conquest, more on defense, because now, every species in the galaxy understood, Earth had stepped back into the spotlight, not as a victim, not as a novelty, but as a warning point, one that echoed across every channel, in every corner of known space: never scan a Terran Arenaship again, because the next time, they might not be sending just one.